Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow good stories. Damien showed no fear. Instead, he curled his lips into a cold, contemptuous smile. You've always been this knave, haven't you, Johann? If you wanted to kill me, you should have gone for the heart first. So where's that filthy hand of yours headed now? His voice was calm, taunting. Johann, burning with rage, snapped, Fine, Damien. I'll rip out your heart and crush it like you asked. Then I'll write my name in your blood. I'll shatter that flawless body of yours, again and again. But Damien remained unfazed, clicking his tongue as if bored. Who taught you these ridiculous rituals? You think this crap is gonna make you a king? Johann trembled, struck silent, words fumbling at the edge of his tongue. I was meant to be perfect, more worthy than you. But you stole my power, my light. You interfered with everything I did until I lost everything I was meant to have. Because of you, Damien scoffed. Pathetic. You're blaming me for breaking your fragile little ego? Johann screamed. Shut your mouth. But Damien continued speaking, deliberately dislocating a finger as he did, his voice cutting through the air like a knife. Even without me, you wouldn't have held that throne for long, Johann. I'll admit, you had your moments. But you know what? His left arm slowly slipped free from the shackles. No matter how polished something looks, it never shines quite like gold. Veins bulged on Johann's face as he let out a shrill hiss. You bastard. You demon. Die. Mad with rage, he lunged straight at Damien. A loud crack echoed through the cave as Johann was slammed backward, crashing to the ground. His minion stood frozen, gun in hand, utterly confused. How is that even possible? He broke his own finger to get free? Damien, voice low and commanding, said, You, hand me the gun, and I'll spare you. The trembling subordinate stuttered. I can't do that. Damien frowned. Double quotes pity dot in a single swift motion. He spun the dagger and flung it. The blade sank deep into the man's thigh, drawing a pained, guttural scream as the gun clattered to the ground and slid right to Damien's feet. He seized it without hesitation. Wait, please, the man cried out in terror, pleading for his life. But it was too late. The final shot rang out, echoing like a death knell. Damien exhaled in short, ragged breaths, the aftermath of an uneven battle still rippling through his body. He freed his other handcuff swiftly, then fired one last bullet to break the chain on his ankle. At last, the shackles were gone. He checked the clip empty. Just then, a sudden spark burst in the darkness, followed by a deafening explosion. The entire cave trembled, as if ready to collapse in on itself. Damien stood there, still unsure what was happening, when Johann's voice rang out from the shadows, laughing hysterically as he staggered to his feet. Die here, Damien. Let this be your tomb. Damien scowled. So you don't even have the guts to face me to the end? Johann yelled. You know damn well what the smart move is, and turned on his heels, bolting away into the chaos. Take care of yourself, Damien. I'll be back to scrape your corpse off the rocks later. Explosions and falling stones continued to rain down, but Damien's mind focused on just one name, Chloe. Meanwhile, outside, the sky echoed with the cries of crows and the thunder of hooves pounding toward the mountain. Chloe winced with pain. Her crippled leg couldn't keep up with the rhythm of the galloping horses. Countwise and Comia looked deeply worried. Your Majesty, are you all right? Chloe replied through gritted teeth. I'm fine. Keep riding. She clutched the reins tightly, silently praying, Please, Damien, just stay alive. She remembered the night before when Alice had revealed a vital piece of information. There was an ancient temple at the summit of Mount Chobi. That's where Johann had gone into hiding. That's all I know, Alice had whispered. I'm really sorry, Chloe. Now, racing desperately toward the peak, Chloe could only see the smoldering remains of a fire glowing in the distance. What happened here? Smoke stung her lungs, making it hard to breathe. Suddenly, she spotted a half-burned map on the ground marking a location. Comia urged, Your Majesty, it seems His Highness isn't here. We need to leave before the fire spreads. But Chloe stood firm. No, Damien is definitely here. Without warning, she turned and bolted from the scene. Why, Your Majesty? Comia cried out in panic. Where are you going? She ignored his voice and ran into the smoke alone to find her husband. Flames had begun to consume a vast stretch of the mountainside. Comia tried to stop her. Please, stop, Your Majesty. The fire will spread quickly. We need to ensure your safety. But Chloe didn't slow down. I know Damien is here, she shouted. Before her now was a burning forest, scorched and smothered in ash. She stood at the edge of a cliff, hands trembling. The map no longer mattered. Why? Why does it have to end like this? Even though she had learned, time and again, that even the most eternal moments eventually came to an end, she still stubbornly clung to her pride, never once letting herself be kind to him. Is this really the end for us? Tears fell from her eyes as she began to speak from the depths of her heart. I still have so much I want to tell you. Her voice cracked. In the end, I finally admitted to myself that the proud, noble woman named Chloe Verdier is gone. I can never go back to being that Chloe Verdier who I was before meeting you. So now, you have to take responsibility for me, forever. Tears streaming, she cried out with all the strength in her heart, Damien, I'm waiting for you. I'll wait forever if I have to. Her voice rang out into the void, and only her own echo answered, returning from the bottom of the abyss. But the echo reached him. Trapped deep below, Damien stirred. Miraculously, the falling rocks hadn't crushed him, but his ankle was still shackled. His whole body ached, yet his mind remained sharp enough to mutter curses under his breath. Dying like this, what a disgrace. If Wise and Komiya have even a shred of decency left, he thought bitterly, they won't let Chloe see my corpse like this. And in that moment, as his blurred vision struggled to adjust, he thought he saw her standing right before him. Chloe wept, her voice trembling as she cried, Damien, I'm sorry. The man, half conscious, reached out a trembling hand and murmured, my love, please help me leave this world with a smile. I'm waiting for you, Damien. Chloe's voice echoed in the air. Suddenly, the man jolted awake. The sound of her voice rang right beside his ear, vivid and real. I will wait for you even if it takes forever. A beam of sunlight pierced through the rubble above, casting light upon the wreckage around him. Damien whispered her name under his breath, Chloe. His eyes narrowed against the light, his body shivered. She had called out to him again as if by some miracle. Her voice had broken through the darkness. And in front of him there it was, a sliver of light, a path out of the shadows. How could I let myself die, he murmured, when she's still out there, still in danger. My love. Without hesitation, Damien began dragging himself forward, the weight of chains pulling at him, but his resolve unshaken. Outside, Chloe continued to call out for her husband, her voice cracking in the rain. Komiya tried desperately to restrain her. Your Majesty? It's too dangerous. We have to leave the mountain. But she fought back, shoving him aside. Let me go. Damien, he's not dead. He can't be dead. Rain poured down, soaking her to the bone, but she kept whispering his name, over and over. Damien, Damien, please, you can't die like this, not you. And then his voice came, carried on the wind, low and unmistakable. She's right. Chloe's tear-filled eyes flew open. That voice, it was him. Her heart surged, pulsing back to life. Why are you crying like you've just seen your husband's corpse? His voice rang clearly now, as the rain fell all around her. Without thinking, Chloe stumbled forward, dragging her wounded leg across the muddy ground until she reached him. She threw her arms around his bare chest, clutching him tightly. Her body trembled uncontrollably like a frightened fawn. Damien blinked in surprise, then smiled gently, wrapping his arms around her. I'm here, he whispered softly. It's all over now. You shouted so loud, he chuckled. I bet even Swannon heard you from the other side of the valley. Still in disbelief, Chloe pulled back slightly, looking up at him as if to confirm it wasn't a dream. Is it really you? She whispered. Damien nodded, his voice tender. You really thought your husband died and left his beloved wife all alone? Chloe couldn't hold it in anymore. She buried her face against his chest and sobbed. No, no. Damien sighed quietly, looking down at her dirt-streaked face. His heart ached for her. She burned in his arms like fire, and at last, he leaned in and kissed her, deep and full of longing, to console her trembling soul. Ever since I first saw you, she cried between sobs, I prayed so much I couldn't even sleep. And when you broke my walking stick in the forest, I hated you so much. But my heart kept beating harder and harder, and I hated that even more. Damien continued to soothe her gently. I understand, my love, but Chloe only grew more irritated by his calmness. And yet I still married you. If I hated you that much, I would have run away already. Damien smiled. I know. He brushed her beautiful face with the bridge of his straight, elegant nose and gave her a dazzling smile. But even if you had tried to run, in the end, you still loved me, didn't you?" Chloe couldn't deny it. Instead of answering, she cupped her husband's face and kissed him sweetly. Their two loyal retainers had witnessed the entire scene. Count Wise leaned in and muttered, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" Komiya replied, "Probably, but I still don't understand why their highnesses had to do that right at the edge of a cliff." The heavy thunderstorm eventually gave way to warm rays of sunlight, and the once scorched forest on Mount Chobi now shimmered with green. Chloe carefully tended to Damien's wounds, though she was visibly annoyed he hadn't stopped smirking since they sat down. "Why are you smiling like that?" she asked. "I just can't help it," Damien said, his voice light. "People are going to think you've lost your mind." Damien chuckled. "That would be fair. After all, I did come back from the dead. Do you have to keep that brace on your arm?" he asked with mock innocence. Chloe shot him a deadly glare. "No. You don single quotes t.as she wrapped fresh bandages." She scolded him mercilessly. "Do you think this is funny? Who told you it was a good idea to break your own finger?" Honestly, she yanked the band tighter, making Damien wince. "Ow, that hurts." "As it should," she snapped. "And when we get home, we're going to have to check your entire arm. And why didn't you make a sound when it happened? How could you climb a mountain in that state?" Before she could finish, Damien's shadow loomed over her. Smooch, he planted a loud, mischievous kiss on her cheek. "Well, if I hadn't done all that, how would I be able to kiss my wife like this now?" Chloe's face instantly flushed bright red. As their carriage rolled onward, a rustling sound came from nearby. Someone was hiding in the brush. Rustle. It was loud enough for Damien to snap to attention. He spotted the suspicious figure bolting away. "Ugh, look at that pathetic man running off," Chloe muttered. "Let's hope no one finds out he's my cousin." Damien quickly reached for his rifle, but the brace on his arm made it difficult to hold it properly. "This'll be tricky," he said. Chloe looked worried. "Are you okay?" "I have to kill Johann," Damien growled, "but this damn brace is throwing off my aim." At the mention of that name, Chloe's face darkened. Johann, he was still alive and running in the opposite direction. A terrible thought struck her. "You nearly took Damien from me, forever." Her eyes narrowed with resolve. Without hesitation, she snatched the rifle from Damien's hand. "Give it to me." She expertly cocked the rifle. For the first time, she felt grateful to the Ricardo family for inviting her on those hunting trips. Chloe squinted one eye to aim. Damien moved closer, adjusting her stance and breathing. "There's no need to rush, Chloe. Just focus on your target and hold your breath as you pull the trigger. Don't let your emotions shake you," he whispered in her ear as he corrected her posture. Chloe's heart pounded wildly in her chest. Still, she hesitated. "You don't have to force it," Damien added gently. "If it's too much, just help me ta." Bang. Before he could finish, Chloe had already found her moment and pulled the trigger without a hint of doubt. The gunshot roared through the sky, sending every bird and beast scattering in panic. Wise and Komiya flinched in shock. What the hell was that? Then, silence broken only by the heavy splash of blood gushing from the man who had been fleeing moments before. Johann didn't even have time to scream. His body dropped instantly, dead on the spot. "Bullseye. Oh my God, Your Majesty. That was incredible." One of the retainers shouted in pure excitement, but neither Damien nor Chloe could quite believe what had just happened. After a long moment of stunned silence, Damien suddenly burst into laughter. Who would have thought the same woman Johann once humiliated with such cowardice ended up being the one who put a bullet through his skull? Still riding the high, Damien raised his voice with dramatic flair, while his wife trembled uncontrollably beside him. "So this is how you show your eternal love for me, huh?" Chloe tried to respond, but no words came. Did I just kill someone?" Her mind was spinning, her consciousness fading. The shock overtook her entirely, her whole body collapsed. "Chloe." Damien rushed to catch her slender frame before she hit the ground, his bright blue eyes wide with alarm as he held the beautiful woman slipping into unconsciousness in his arms. A soft smile spread across his lips. "The greatest fortune of my life," he whispered, "was making her mine. I love you, Chloe. I love you, with everything I am." And so, after all the pain and peril, Chloe had saved Damien from the jaws of death, bringing him back from the brink. What will become of their love story from here?